There's been some big Zoom reveals on The Flash, and they don't really make a lot of sense to us. So, Eric Goldman, I ask you, what do you think of what's going on with the latest Zoom reveal?
Yeah, so obviously full spoilers for everything that's happened recently on The Flash. I wish it all felt like, yes, I get it, this is awesome, and it just doesn't. I mean, I think the idea of Jay Garrick is really Zoom, it in and of itself could be cool, but when you add up what we've seen this season, it doesn't really work. You know, I don't quite see how it all fits, and the idea that Jay Garrick was both Jay Garrick the Flash and also Zoom, it's a lot to kind of accept, and I don't think they've really presented it enough to really explain how it all worked.
Yeah, it seems crazy to me that he can be like a master criminal and a great hero, and just keep that hidden while the same, because are psychopaths naturally always this good of an actor, you know?
Well, yeah, and they're not going, I think it would even work more, and even though this is, you know, sort of a cliche, but everything is, we're dealing with cliches and that's fine, if he was a split personality, right? If they really were like, oh, he didn't even know what he was doing, and part of him was a hero, part of him was a villain. But that's not what we're being presented. We're being presented that, no, he was a psycho serial killer who decided to sometimes fake being a superhero. And yeah, it's hard to reconcile all of that with the guy he is now, the guy that we see holding Caitlin and basically being maniacal villain.
Yeah.
To like think back on what we saw of Jay all season, I don't think it really meshes.
Yeah, it's just completely like out of left field, like this twist. And I feel like I've been wanting for it to make sense, but really every time, like for these past 2 episodes, I've just been like confused.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel good. Like season 1, like the twist they came, I don't think they had it all figured out when they first started, and they sort of created some stuff along the way to explain the whole Harrison Wells thing and how he's really Eobard Thawne. But it worked, and it worked really well, and it was very satisfying. It was very engaging to watch that. But this, I'm just constantly like, huh? What? Like, so I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
So to sort of illustrate exactly what we're talking about, I challenge you, Eric, to explain the plot to me.
I think it's that Hunter Zolomon was an abused kid whose father killed his mom in front of him. That made Hunter Zolomon grow up to become a horrible serial killer who killed a bunch of people, went to jail. Then there was the accident that gave him superpowers, and now he decided to become a superhero named the Flash and help people, but he was still a psycho killer, so he also became a super villain named Zoom, who was the Flash's enemy, and maybe, I guess, he used his powers to make it look like he was fighting himself, and people would see them fighting each other, but it was really the same guy, and I don't even know really why he decided to also act like a hero, but he did.
Huh.
Right.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. So that gets us caught up to this whole origin story, but once the show, like, it crosses where we started watching the show in season 2, how does that make sense? The portal opens to our Earth from Earth 2. Can you take me from there, and like with the helmet and everything?
I mean, that's, again, it's very, like the helmet flying through. I get that he was, you know, basically trying to get more speed the whole time, and the fact that he had, you know, used this, you know, a way to enhance his speed that was now hurting him, and that he needed to take Barry's speed, and I guess he felt he had to trick him to use the already created identity of Jay Garrick the Flash. It's not like he came to Earth 1 and is like, oh, I gotta fool this guy. He already had this other identity that he sometimes used.
I wonder if was he just, because the way he explained it to us, or you know, the audience, was that, you know, Jay Garrick was fighting Zoom, and as Zoom was about to kill him, the helmet, you know, got sucked into the portal, and
at the
so
end
did
of season 1.
Yeah, and so did Jay Garrick. So that must have been a lie, because.
Right.
I'm assuming, so was Zoom just standing there with his Jay Garrick helmet, ready to like frisbee it into the portal?
Yeah, I think there's 2 problems here, is that we can't reconcile out the physicality of it and how it worked when there was really one guy, but we're being told, like, there was really one guy that was supposed to be 2, so now we're trying to think about, even the flashback we saw of them running around fighting each other, was that just kind of a imagined flashback because he's telling the story, like you said?
Yeah, like an unreliable narrator.
Right, who is now, to us, the audience, also giving his unreliable narration. So there's that question of the physicality of it all, and then there's the question of the mental state of it all, and how and why he would even have the Jay Garrick persona originally, before he needed to fool Barry, because it was he was fighting supervillains on Earth 2, you know? Like, it's just like a weird thing. I'm a psycho serial killer, I'm an evil person. Sometimes I like to be a hero too and fight people. But again, I don't think they're depicting him as a split personality where that would really at least feed into what they're doing. So that's
and I feel like there's something else on top of all this because when Jay Garrick, Zoom, had his mask off and his eyes went black.
Yeah.
Like he was actually literally possessed by some sort of like force, like a speed demon or something.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder: is what part of it is true, what part of it is fake, and what part of it is like the influence of whatever is corrupting him is making him get horrible eye cataracts.
Right. And then there's the question of Jay Garrick being, from what we know now on this TV show, The Flash, just an invented persona. They were using a famous comic book persona, and that's kind of how they would trick us. But is that it? Like, was there ever a Jay Garrick, or was that just 100%? It seems like there couldn't be, right? Because even the helmet and the costume comes from his psycho dad. It's not like he copied who was James, Hunter Zolomon's dad.
And when Cisco touches the helmet, he feels Zoom, not some other real Jay Garrick or something like that.
Right.
Because I think I've sort of been holding on to the hope that maybe there is a real Jay Garrick out there. Maybe it's the man in the mask or something like that. But I don't feel that's what's happening here. I will say one thing on Twitter, showrunner, producer, Greg Berlanti, he was like reassuring fans that we haven't destroyed the character of Jay Garrick, and just hold on and wait for us to finish telling our story. Something to kind of like that, to sort of reassure people that maybe we're not done telling the story, and you still might get the Jay Garrick you know and love from the comic books.
Yeah, Kreisberg. I went to a Q&A this week, and Andrew Kreisberg, other executive producer, he gave kind of a coy answer to when someone asked about Jay Garrick and is that it, or is there a real one? So we'll see. I mean, I will say The Flash, is still a really entertaining show week to week, but I do think when we were in this home stretch last season with the Harrison Wells story and it was all working, it's hard not to look at like, oh, this villain, the main villain of the season, and wish it was really coming together in a way. It just
I'll say this: I'm still loving the show. Yeah. I just wish this made more sense. Maybe you guys can help us. Go in the comments, give us your theory. You work off of Eric's very fine starting point. Well done with that. Thank you. So let us know your thoughts about Flash, and for more on Flash and Zoom and what the heck is going on, keep it here on IGN.